The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered, towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of labor inspection, occupational safety and health investigation, and technical and advisory visit. Special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAB, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAB. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet.
Establishment owners carry a big responsibility to comply with labor laws, including submitting reports and providing documents like payroll records during inspections. But the manual filing process is a major challenge. They need to spend time, money, and effort to fill out forms and deliver them to the DOLE office, often dealing with traffic and delays. Sometimes, there's a long wait just to confirm if the report is accurate and complete. And it's not just employers facing difficulties. DOLE employees also struggle with limited manpower and the time-consuming task of reviewing and processing these reports. The time has come for change. What's required now is a more innovative, streamlined, and efficient process for handling compliance reports. One that will simplify life not just for businesses but also for DOLE employees. Welcome to the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, your all-in-one platform for seamless compliance submissions, designed to make compliance easier and more convenient for establishment owners. Telecommuting reports? Flexible work arrangement submissions? Reporting the 13th month pay? No problem. Even work accident or illness reports and the annual establishment report on wages, everything you need is now in one convenient portal. Plus, the online compliance portal now includes the latest requirement for reporting movie and television shoots under Department Order 246, Series of 2024. All your compliance needs in one place, quick, secure, and hassle-free. With the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, registering your establishment is a breeze. Our automatic registration system ensures you are instantly compliant with OSH Standard Rule 1020. Once submitted, your certificate of registration is immediately available for download, saving you time and effort. Need to manage your workforce details? The portal allows you to upload your employees' names and details using a CSV template. Once uploaded, these details are readily available for reports like the Flexible Work Arrangement Report, where selecting affected employees is as easy as a click. If your establishment has been flagged for non-compliance during labor inspection, don't worry. Required documents can be submitted quickly and conveniently. And if you're missing certain policies, like a mental health program or OSH program, we've got you covered with downloadable templates. Submit these documents directly through the portal, where DOLE inspectors will review, provide feedback, and keep you on track for compliance. With admin access on the DOLE compliance portal, labor inspectors can easily review submitted reports and documents from establishments. If further verification is needed, they can schedule an online meeting through Google Meet, all within the portal. This streamlines compliance checks, saving time and making the process more efficient for everyone. It's a smarter, more efficient way to stay compliant and keep your business running smoothly. Welcome to a new era of compliance, simplified, fast, and effective with the DOLE online compliance portal.
Good afternoon! Isang malusog at ligtas na hapon ang aming pagbati sa inyong lahat. Welcome to Webinar Wednesdays, hatid sa atin ng Department of Labor and Employment, hosted by the Bureau of Working Conditions. I am Ningning Flores and I will be your host for today's webinar. Our topic for today's episode is Cancer Prevention and Control in the Workplace. May idea ba kayo bakit ito ang ating topic ngayong araw? Well, ito ay dahil ayon sa World Health Organization, ang sakit na cancer ay ang pangunahing dahilan ng pagkamatay sa buong mundo, with nearly 10 million deaths in 2020 o isa sa 6 na sanhi ng kamatayan. At alam nyo ba na kahapon, February 4, ay pinagdiwang ang World Cancer Day. Ito ay isang global initiative na sinimula noong taong 2000 sa pangunguna ng Union for International Cancer Control or UICC. At mula noon, ang World Cancer Day ay naging isa sa mga pinakamahalagang araw ng Health Awareness Days na ang layunin ay maitaas ang kamalayan at palawakin ang kaalaman ng mamamayan tungkol sa mga panganib na dulot ng cancer, mga pamamaraan sa pag-iwas, pag-detect at paggamot nito. The UICC runs the World Cancer Day campaigns in 3-year cycles. At para sa 3 taong kampanya, mula ngayong 2025 hanggang 2027, ang napiling tema ay United by Unique, placing the people at the center of care and exploring new ways of making a difference. Because every experience with cancer is unique, and it will take all of us, united, to create a world where we look beyond the disease and see the person before the patient. Behind every cancer diagnosis lies a uniquely human story, stories of grief, pain, healing, resilience, love, and care. At bilang pakikiisa ng DOLE Bureau of Working Conditions sa 2025 World Cancer Day, and also in relation to DOLE Labor Advisory 20-2023, kaya ang tatalakayin natin ngayong hapon ay ang cancer prevention and control in the workplace. Before we proceed with the webinar proper, let's ask the Lord's guidance and blessing.
Let us bow our head and put ourselves in the holiness of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Almighty and ever-loving God, we glorify and thank your name. You have showered us with so much blessings, and your presence continuously remind us of your faithfulness and guidance. May we humbly ask you to shower our speaker today of your greatest inspiration so that he may share the most of his knowledge, his field of expertise, and to his respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge, experiences, and put it into practice that we may learn today. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of this webinar. May we be a living witnesses of your genuine love through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. We ask this in the name of your Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Good afternoon once again and welcome to Season 3, Episode 2 of Webinar Wednesday. Para sa ating Facebook Live viewers, huwag kalimutang mag-like, heart, and wow react sa ating webinar dahil nakatitiyak tayo na marami tayong matututunan o kaya naman mag-care react dahil tunay ang ating malasakit para sa mga taong may cancer. Likewise, don't forget to share this live stream on your Facebook account and use the hashtag Webinar Wednesdays. You may also share this to your colleagues, friends, and families para mas marami tayong magkaroon ng bagong kaalaman. For your questions, inquiries, feel free to use the comment section and rest assured that this will be addressed by our resource speaker after the lecture. We will now proceed to the discussion of our today's topic entitled United by Unique, Fostering a Supportive Workplace for Employees Affected by Cancer, Guidelines on the Implementation of the Workplace Policy and Program on Cancer. At dahil ang topic natin ngayon ay nangangailangan ng field expertise, we have with us an esteemed resource person. Our speaker for this afternoon is a Doctor of Medicine with 6 years of professional experience at Quezon Medical Center in Lucena City. At present, she is a Medical Officer 3 of the Bureau of Working Conditions. Everyone, please welcome our very own Dr. Sheila Lori A14 Faborada.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Sheila Lori, A14 Faborada from the DOLE Bureau of Working Conditions. Ngayon po, very timely itong ating webinar Wednesday, kasi gaya nga po ng sinabi ni Ma'am Ning, kahapon ay pinagdiriwang po natin ang World Cancer Day. Every February 4 po ay nagdidiwang tayo ng World Cancer Day para naman po magkaroon tayo ng global awareness sa cancer at alam natin kung yung importansya ng early detection and treatment, and also para po suporta sa ating mga kababayan at lahat po ng mga pasyente na mayroong cancer, at hindi lang rin po sa mga pasyente kundi doon din po sa mga nagbabantay or mga carers ng ating mga pasyente. Ano po? Okay po. So ngayon, ang title po ng ating Webinar Wednesday ay aligned din po sa tema ng ng World Cancer Day, ang United by Unique, Fostering a Supportive Workplace for Employees Affected by Cancer. Ito po, iha-highlight po natin ang ating Labor Advisory Number 20, Series of 2023, yung Guidelines on the Implementation of Workplace Policy and Program on Cancer. Next po. Next po. Yan, ito po yung tema ngayon natin, yung sa World Cancer Day, yung United by Unique. Next po. So by the end of the session, sana po ang ina-expect po natin is lahat po tayo ay ma-familiarize sa salient points and yung mga latest advisory natin, lalong-lalo na po sa cancer. Pangalawa po is yung mai-apply natin yung principles na ito sa ating mga respective workplaces. And lastly is to advocate for policy and practice improvement to enhance the implementation of OSH programs. Una-una po, ano po ba yung cancer? Ang cancer po ay genetic disease po siya ng large group of diseases na nakakaapekto sa ating buong katawan. No? Any part of our body, pwede tayong magka-cancer. Bale, ito po sa yung nakikita po natin sa picture no, makikita natin yung cancerous cells na nagmumultiply at nag-i-invade kasi meron silang abnormal na paglaki, pagdami na nakaka-apekto po dun sa mga katabi nilang mga cells, yung normal cells. At dahil po dun nagpo-proliferate siya, nagiging tumor no sa Tagalog o bukol. Pero alam naman po natin na ang tumor o bukol, may dalawa po yung types. Ang isa po doon ay yung benign o ibig sabihin po nun, non-cancerous. At pangalawa naman po is yung malignant tumor. Ibig sabihin po nun, yun po ay cancerous. Ngayon po, pag ito pong cancer cells natin is dumami siya, meron po siyang pwedeng magpunta sa ating lymphatics or sa blood no na nakaka-spread siya sa ibang parte ng organ. Yun po ang tinatawag nating metastasis o yung spread ng cancer cells sa place from where they first formed to another part of the body. Next po. Next po. Bale, sa Philippines po, no, nakita natin na yung, pwede po pa back, sorry. Ayan, yung sa cancer po, according to the WHO, ito daw po ay second leading cause of death globally, no, which accounts for an estimate of 9.6 million deaths, or 1 in 6 deaths in 2018. And ang most common type of cancer sa mga lalaki po ay lungs, prostate, colorectal, stomach, and liver cancer. Una-una, bakit lungs? Kasi syempre, di ba, ang daming naninigarilyo. Halos mas marami po ang lalaking naninigarilyo kesa sa babae. Pangalawa po, due to air pollution, syempre ano po ba ang mga karaniwang trabaho ng mga lalaki, lalo na po sa mga third world countries, 'di ba po mga manual labors or yung tinatawag nating blue collar job, yung mga driver tayo, mga nagtatrabaho sa gasolina, sa mga planta, sa mga minero, ayan po. Kaya meron din po silang mas mataas na risk po for occupational exposures. And pangalawa po, yung prostate, ito po is na kukuha nila to usually sa older age na po. Pag medyo may edad na po ang mga lalaki dahil sila lang din po ang may prostate po. At pangatlo, colorectal, dahil po sa panahon po natin ngayon, masyado na tayong busy o kaya masyado na pong mahal ang bilihin, hindi na po tayo nakakapagluto ng masustansya, yung diet, either magpapadeliver or magte-take out na lang o kaya magluluto na lang ng mga delata. At the same time, syempre yung lifestyle po natin, yung wala na tayong exercise, tapos sedentary ang ang lifestyle natin, and at the same time yung genetic predisposition din po. Tapos yung sa stomach, ang unang-una po dyan is yung diet natin. Ganun po. Kasi fatty, kung tawag dito, mahilig sa process, mahilig po tayo sa mga junk foods, etc. And yung tinatawag na H. pylori infection and also smoking, isa rin po yung cause ng stomach cancer. Hindi lang po lang cancer yung cancer na pwede nating makuha kapag tayo ay nanigarilyo o nagyosi. And yung liver cancer is yung nagkaroon tayo ng infection dahil po sa hepatitis B at C, and also yung pagiinom po natin ng alak. Sa mga babae naman, breast cancer, colorectal, lungs, tapos cervical, at saka thyroid. Siyempre yung breast kasi po, ito po ay genetic and also influenced po siya ng hormones nating mga babae. And also yung lifestyle factors na rin natin, no? Tapos yung sa lungs, kasi ngayon po, nagkakaroon na rin po ng increasing trend ng mga babaeng naninigarilyo, nagve-vape, tobacco, at syempre, yung kahit hindi naninigarilyo yung babae, yung second-hand smoke from their husbands, their parents, fathers, mga tito-tita, mga kapatid, mas malaki po ang chance na magkaroon ng cancer yung mga taong na-expose sa second-hand smoke kaysa dun sa mga naninigarilyo talaga. And yung sa cervical cancer, yan po ay dahil po sa HPV, yung human papilloma virus. And alam din po natin na ito po ay pwede nating maiwasan, no, with the proper vaccination against HPV and also yung screening talaga para mas mabilis nating malaman kung meron po ba tayong cancer. And yung last po is thyroid cancer. So in 2023 sa Pilipinas po, pangalawa rin po siyang cause of death sa atin, no. Una po is yung ischemic heart diseases. Next po. Yan, makikita po natin sa ating mga screens na yung noong 2022 po ay meron tayong almost 189,000 na bagong kaso ng cancer. At sa mga kalalakihan po, ang top 3 leading cancers po ay lungs, colorectal, and prostate. Sa mga babae naman po, breast pa rin po, colorectal, and cervix. Pero overall, ang number 1 po is lungs, sunod po ay breast po, sunod lungs, and colorectal. At the same time, meron din po tayo 369,000 na deaths. And yung number 1 cause of death ng both sexes na is yung lungs and then breast and liver. Next po. Ayan, ito pinapakita lang po yung most frequent cancers between the sexes and both sexes po noong 2022. Next po. And this one po from the PSA. Noong 2023, number 2 pa rin po yung neoplasms or tinatawag natin cancers, tumors. Sa number 2 cause of death pa rin sa Pilipinas. At the same time, noong August 2024, number 2 pa rin po, makikita rin po natin yan. Number 1 pa rin po ang ischemic heart diseases. Next. So, dahil po mayroon tayong global trade liberalization, technological progress, changes in employment patterns, yung mga nagmamigrate, nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa. Also, yung shifts in organizational practices, at the same time, yung magkakaroon tayo ng variation sa enterprise size, structures, and life cycles. This also creates new hazards, exposures, and risks sa ating mga workers. So, kahit po meron tayong maraming polisiya na inilabas, guidelines, and standards for occupational safety and health, meron pa rin po talagang mga gaps and issues na kailangan din po nating i-identify at kailangan pong ma-address. That's why po ang ating OSH policies ay continuously nag-e-evolve in response to these changing times. Next. So bakit natin kailangang bakit ang OSH ay kailangan pong mag-evolve or kailangan nating tawag dito, i-polish, no, over time is mainly because, next po, sinasaad po sa ating Philippine Constitution na specifically yung Section 15 na lahat po ng Pilipino ay meron pong right to health. And nung sa Section 18 naman po na bilang tayong nasa labor force ay ang primary social economic force ay kailangan din po talagang protektado ang ating mga karapatan at ang ating welfare. So for social justice naman po, tayo pong mga workers ay kailangan po at entitled po tayo sa humane working conditions, hindi lang po basta dahil may living wage and may security of tenure, kundi pati ang humane working conditions. And for the next po, labor code naman po, labor standards, yung minimum requirements po na prescribed ng existing laws ay ini-include po noon hindi lang po yung monetary, kundi pati na rin po ang benefits natin, welfare benefits natin na including those set by the occupational safety and health standards. Yung ito po, yung yellow book natin na tinatawag, ito po ay finormulate po no to safeguard the workers' social and economic well-being as well as yung physical safety and health niya. And at the same time po, noong 2018 po, naglabas po tayo ng Republic Act. Next po. Yan, 11058 or yung OSLO na tinatawag, no? Ito po, isinabatas ito noong 2018 para po magkaroon po talaga na ma-ensure yung safe and healthy workplace natin sa lahat ng mga workers sa private sector po. At the same time, on that same year po, naglabas din po ang DOLE ng Department Order. Yan, yung implementing rules and regulations ng ating OSLO. Coverage din po niya, lahat din po ng employers and employees of the private sector. So with this po, ang DOLE po ay nakapag-issue ng tinatawag nating Labor Advisory Number 20 Series of 2023, yung guidelines on the implementation of the Workplace Policy Program on Cancer Prevention and Control in the private sector. Pero hindi lang naman po ito yung ating kumbaga pinagkuhanan, pinag-angklaan no, ng ating labor advisory. Dahil hindi tayo makakagawa ng ganito kung wala po tayong batas na specific for cancer. At ito nga po yung Republic Act number 11215 series of 2018 or yung National Integrated Cancer Control Act po. And sa ating labor sector, dito po sa rules 4, 5, and 7, dito po natin in-streamline yung ating labor advisory. Kasi ito po yung specific for the labor sector. Next po. So sa pag inano po natin yung sa RA 11215 po, ito pong Rule 4 or yung cancer awareness, specifically po yung Section 18 on health education and promotion in the workplace, dito po ini-include po natin yung psychosocial support nung mga patients natin na merong tinatawag na big C or yung cancer, yung mga empleyadong merong cancer na nag-undergo ng treatment, and at the same time yung mga empleyado rin po na nangangalaga sa kanilang mga kapamilya, sa magulang, anak, kapatid na meron din pong cancer na ma-eliminate din po ang discrimination sa trabaho at the same time mawala po yung stigma against cancer. And sa Rule 5, yung affordable cancer care and treatment, yun po sa Section 22 niya, nagsasaad po na sa social protection mechanism, yung sa mga employers po ay tulungan natin ang ating mga workers na maka-access no, sa tamang cancer treatment options. Yun yung through referrals natin sa mga partners na NGAs natin, katulad sa DOH, yung mga hospitals na yun, PhilHealth accredited hospitals para po mas affordable yung healthcare and cancer treatment na makuha nila. At the same time, psychosocial support, medications, and yung screening, diagnostics, and mga gamot din po. Pwede rin po sa SSS, yung sickness benefit natin. Sa PhilHealth, yung mga konsulta packages na i-discuss natin later. Yung sa TSWD, kung tulong din po. PWD, yan, yung mga cancer patients po ay pwede pong kumuha ng PWD ID. Pwede din pong tulungan ng ating mga employers makakuha ng PWD ID kapag magsisend po sila ng mga forms. And yung Rule 7 po sa non-discrimination, syempre po, kailangan po nating mag-promote ng work and employment opportunities po no, for able persons with cancer and those who are cancer survivors. Syempre, hindi naman po dapat maging balakid para sa ating mga cancer na patients na workers din po at the same time yung mga survivors na maging candidate for promotion, hindi po yun maging hadlang para hindi po sila ma-promote. At the same time, yung makasecure ng job and yung other milestones na pwede nilang ma-reach within sa kanilang workplace, no? And also to accommodate din sila yung mga flexible working hours, flexible work arrangements habang sila ay nag-undergo ng treatment. So with this po, ito po yung legal basis ng ating labor advisory, no, yung RA ng NICA, yung Cancer Control Act. At the same time, yung PhilHealth Circular Number 2020-022, yung implementing guidelines for the PhilHealth Konsultasyong Sulit at Tama PhilHealth Konsulta Package, and yung other na pinag-angklaan ng ating labor advisory, yung OSLO, yung IRR, yung DO 198, yung labor code natin, and yung Universal Healthcare Act. Yan. Ito po yung itsura ng ating labor advisory. Yan po yung mga sinabi ko kanina, yung sa Labor Code, sa Republic Act ng Cancer, yung Articles 4, 5, and 7, at the same time yung OSLO, yung Universal Healthcare Act, tsaka yung mga IRR nitong mga batas. Ito pong labor advisory, kung makikita nyo po, kung na-download nyo po siya, is 100 pages po siya. Pero yung talagang labor advisory ng DOLE is 3 pages lang yan. Yung other 100 plus pages is yun yung mga annexes nating tinatawag. Doon natin pwedeng makita yung access natin to health services na like yung sa ECC, kung paano mag-claim, yung forms ng PhilHealth, at saka yung mga numbers, addresses ng mga PhilHealth accredited hospitals na pwede nating puntahan kung saan yung malapit sa inyo, sa bahay nyo or sa workplace ninyo. So ano po ba yung coverage nitong labor advisory natin? So ang coverage na is yung lahat ng employers at empleyado sa private sector. Ito pong DOLE advisory, hindi lang po ito sa cancer, kundi sa lahat po ng advisory ng DOLE sa TB, mental health, etc. po. And ano po ba yung ini-encourage sana ng DOLE sa ating mga employers? Unang-una po, yung paid leave benefits and other benefits like yung work accommodation and arrangement po. Pero ito po ay encourage lang kasi wala naman pong mandate na law na nagsasaad po na meron talagang paid leave benefits other than yung benefits nating mga empleyado kapag meron silang cancer or nangangalaga sila ng kapamilyang may cancer. For the other benefits naman po, ito pong pwede po natin gawing flexible yung work arrangements nila sa ating IRR ng DOLE 237, yung Telecommuting Act po natin. Pwede natin silang i-accommodate through different working accommodations and arrangements. Kunwari, i-reschedule natin yung working hours nila from, sabihin natin, morning to mid-shift na lang sila kasi sa morning meron silang consult, or yung workload nila medyo bawasan natin. Pero syempre, alam naman natin na it will take toll on sa other coworkers. So baka pwede rin, kung hindi natin kayang mabawasan, baka po pwede natin bigyan ng flexible work arrangements kasi alam naman po natin na ang mga cancer patients, kapag po sila, lalo na yung mga nag-undergo ng treatment, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, sila po ay mas madali pong makakuha ng mga secondary infections. Yun po yung tinatawag. So kapag po ganun, baka pwede po natin gawin silang work from home o kaya hybrid po, 1 day sa office, 4 days sa bahay, mga ganun pong mga accommodations para naman po hindi rin naman po kumbaga ma-burden yung tao kasi syempre under stress na nga po yung empleyado natin or yung nangangalaga dun sa may taong may cancer, no. Pero at the same time, hindi naman po ito lahat applicable sa lahat ng trabaho kasi lalong-lalo na po dun sa mga nasa service industry, sa mga labor or manual workers, yan, physical workers, hindi po natin ma-accommodate kasi ang kailangan po talaga is yung presensya nila. And also, syempre, sa pagha-handle po ng mga data, dahil sensitive po ito, kailangan po natin siyang i-handle with confidentiality, no, in accordance sa ating Data Privacy Act of 2012 or yung Republic Act number 10173. Kasi para ma-prevent natin yung unauthorized na access sa ating mga data. At the same time, maano rin po, kumbaga iwas chismis, ganon, iwas marites, or yung ma-disclose ba na si employee A is may ganitong sakit, hindi lang po siya sa cancer, kundi kahit ano pong sakit or kahit ano pong makita sa ating mga data, syempre confidential naman po yun. And also, to avoid discrimination and stigma against these illnesses. And we should also remember that yung data dito is to be reported po sa DOLE, no, through the annual medical report form. Ang nakalagay po doon is yung mga number ng mga cancer-related activities and programs ninyo po for the past year. So, syempre, ang company, ang employer, both employer and employee, syempre, kailangan nating mag-adapt ng workplace cancer prevention and control policy program po. So, ito, nakasaad din po dito sa labor advisory kung paano po natin pwedeng gawin yung health and safety measures against cancer, no. Dito hindi po siya parang one size fits all. Kailangan po nating i-tailor fit depende po sa nature ng ating mga trabaho, sa hazards po sa workplace natin. And dun po kailangan po talagang medyo maayos po yung pag ano natin ng risk assessment para naman po mas maganda rin po yung kalalabasan or mas maging efficient at yung ating policies sa ating mga OH programs. First po is yung promotion of safe and healthy lifestyle. Dito, included po dito yung mental and social well-being ng ating mga employees. Next naman is yung cancer policy and program. Dito dapat po is adjusted and updated po yung policy and program natin based po dun sa results ng ating medical surveillance. And at the same time, yung examination po ng mga workers natin, lalo na po yung mga high-risk activities. And number 3 po, yung awareness campaign and health education. Kailangan po natin sana mag-conduct po ng campaigns and health education. Kunwari, pag November or any other month, may kunwari breast cancer month or sa March, TB month, ganun. Magkaroon po tayo ng mga campaigns regarding that para po yung mga employees naman natin is alam po nila kung baka may ganito na pala silang signs and symptoms, hindi pa nila alam. So, at least may enlighten sila at ma-educate natin sila. And for that, pwede natin silang turuan kung paano mag-conduct ng self-breast examination o kaya yung mga ill effects ng smoking, ng alcohol drinking, signs and symptoms, sabihin natin ng cancer, ano po ba yung signs and symptoms ng cancer? Usually kasi generalized naman yun eh, kumbaga parang yung signs and symptoms ng cancer makikita mo rin sa mga ibang sakit like unexplained weight loss. Sa TB, meron din ganon. May fever, meron din pong sumusuka ng dugo o kaya naman sa dumi, may dugo sa dumi, 'di ba? So kailangan po natin, alam din natin yung mga signs and symptoms ng iba't ibang mga sakit. At maganda po yung ituro natin sa ating mga empleyado. And next naman po is yung implementation of control measures. Bale, dito po papasok yung trabaho ng ating OSH committee, no? Na sila po yung, syempre, bago ka makapag-implement ng control measures, dapat po natin is risk assessment po muna, ma-identify natin yung hazard, tapos ma-assess natin yung risk, tsaka tayo gagawa nung kung ano pang control measures gagawin natin. I-eliminate ba natin, i-substitute, engineering control. tapos admin control ba? Tapos last na po natin is yung PPE, syempre, no? Dito kasi, para ma-avoid natin yung exposure to cancer-causing chemicals, or tinatawag na carcinogens. Kasi yung carcinogens, ano ba yun? Yun yung mga substance, mixture, or agents na nagkakos or nag-i-increase po ng risk natin or ng mga workers ng cancer. At yun na yung tinatawag nating occupational cancer, no? Yung cancer na nakukuha ng isang worker wholly or partially dahil po na-expose siya sa carcinogens or sa sitwasyon sa kanyang trabaho. And ang sunod po nun is to adopt an employee-centric program, variable monitoring. Include na po nun yung attendance ng mga umattend dun sa awareness campaign and health education na ginawa po ninyo. At the same time, yung employees na nag-avail ng mga cancer prevention and control measures like sa APE, yung mga nagpapa-pap smear, nagpapa-DRE, yung digital rectal exam, or yung nagpapa-breast exam. Yan. Tsaka yung number ng employees na na-assist din natin sa cancer-related treatments nila. Next naman po, yung assistance to return to work. Syempre, pag nakita natin sa mga APE or sa kung ano mang exam na meron siyang cancer, syempre kailangan po natin i-assist siya kung paano siya makakabalik sa trabaho. At the same time, i-accommodate po natin yung schedule nung tao para po ma-reintegrate na siya sa ating workforce. Next po is to provide materials and procedures needed to file for claims. Bale, ito po yung sa kung work-related illness siya or na-prove po na occupational cancer yung nangyari sa worker natin. Dito, makiklaim po niya through ECC na yung may monetary claims po siyang makukuha dito. And nasa ano po rin yan, nasa labor advisory, kasama po yan dun sa annexes natin. Pwede ninyong makita kung paano po yung step by step para po pag-claim ng mga claims natin sa ECC. Pwede rin po yung sa sickness benefit natin sa SSS. Pag sa private, sa ano naman, government is yung sa GSIS through the disability claims natin. Next naman po is yung facilitation for screening and treatment. Also, yung pag kailangan din natin silang i-assist, no, para sa doon sa mga consulta packages, doon sa PhilHealth accredited na mga hospitals, RHU, mga health centers para sa treatment sa mga medications nila. At the same time, yung assistance to access to rehabilitation and compensation. Yun nga po yung kapag may work-related illness, not just yung cancer, no? And lastly, to implement yung measures to ensure na wala pong stigma and discrimination sa ating workplace. Next po. So ito po yung lahat po ng mga empleyado at employer, syempre meron po tayo lahat yung responsibility for us to paano natin ma-access ng maayos tong mga healthcare services. Unang-una, for the employer, syempre kailangan nating ma-refer ang ating mga employees na gustong magkaroon ma-screen, ma-consult, if ever diagnosed na siya, yung for treatment and yung pagkuha ng gamot, at the same time yung psychosocial support kasi it's taking syempre kahit anong illness will take a mental toll on us naman po. So that's why kailangan pong alam ng mga employers kung saan po natin pwedeng i-refer yung mga empleyado sa DOH retained hospitals na malapit ba sa kanila or malapit sa office nila or rural health units for consult, ganyan. And also, yung mga employees, pwede nilang ma-access yung mga packages and services ng PhilHealth Consulta, yung list of accredited PhilHealth Consulta package providers, nandyan din po sa labor advisory natin. Nakaano siya per region, tapos may number, may name ng hospital. Yun po, makikicheck na lang po dun sa ating labor advisory. And at the same time, syempre, sa patients or employees na na-diagnose with cancer, meron din po tayong chance na mag-apply po at may issuehan ng PWD card or ID kasi naglabas po ng batas dyan, yung NCDAAO 001 na pwede po tayong mag-apply for issuance of PWD ID card. And kahit po cancer survivor ka na, allowed ka pa rin pong mag-renew ng PWD card ninyo. And yung sa PhilHealth naman po, yung mga PhilHealth Consulta packages, meron pong specific na PhilHealth na package, yung sa Z packages, 6 po doon sa 20 na diseases is for cancer. Next po. If itong 6 na to, yung cancer nung employee, pwede niyang ma-avail itong PhilHealth Z package. Ito po yung acute lymphocytic leukemia, early breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, rectal and cervical cancer. Or kung yung employee natin talagang kulang na kulang sa financial or medical assistance, pwede rin po tayong mag-link up through these different organizations and also yung other NGAs katulad ng PCSO, DSWD, and so on po. So, i-emphasize ko lang po na ang Philippines po, marami pong batas no, with provisions on health and wellness for the workers. And at the same time po, it's clear naman na kapag healthy ang workers, productive po ang workers. And pag productive yung workers, good po ang output. No? At maganda rin po yun sa income ng ating mga kumpanya, ng mga workplaces. So, alam na natin na kapag healthy ang workers, healthy ang economy natin. So, ang workplaces din po ay ideal settings to implement itong ating mga occupational health programs. And ang DOLE po, ang mga issuance niya, mga policies, guidelines, advisories, ay isa pong holistic na issuance po yan. Kumbaga, encompassing po siya, hindi lang prevention, kundi pati treatment. At the same time, binibigyan din po tayo ng access to social protection, lalong-lalo na po kapag for compensation sa work-related illnesses. And we also have to ensure po no, that workplaces have mechanisms of referrals and procedures para po sa ating mga pasyente and yung protection po sa confidentiality, non-discrimination, and work accommodations during the delivery of health programs po. And ang ating OSH programs po, naka-streamline yung ating mga OSH programs sa public health programs ng ating gobyerno. And also, employers must assist workers in managing the psychosocial risks, yung stress, yung violence sa workplace, among others, or yung new forms ng work arrangement sana ma-accommodate ng ating mga employers para po hindi naman po mawalan ng pinagkakakitaan yung ating mga empleyado during the darkest moments sa kanilang buhay. And also, yung DOLE, meron siyang partner sa government and private sectors as well for the effective implementation of our health and wellness programs. And kung gusto po ng ating mga company na magkaroon ng health information and access to health services, you can link up po with your LGUs sa city, municipalities, barangay health centers, and even barangay health units po. So in summary po, yung DOLE's concept ng OSH is again holistic, encompassing po not only prevention no, but also yung access to screening, diagnostics, treatment, kahit po psychosocial support. And most importantly, it ensures compensation for work-related illnesses and accidents. With that po, I end po my lecture. You can email us po at ask@bwc.dole.gov.ph or pwede po tayong tumawag na sa 8527-3000 po, local 303 o 307 o kaya BWC 1949. Thank you.
All right. Thank you po very much, Doc Sheila, for the comprehensive and insightful discussion on cancer prevention and control in the workplace. Kahit ako po ay maraming natutunan at nabuksan ng kaisipan tungkol sa cancer, its causes, the treatments, and how the workplace policy and program can help and support the employees affected by cancer. At this point, sasagutin na po natin ang inyong mga tanong. Sa mga may pahabol pa po ng mga katanungan, maaari nyo pang i-type sa ating comment section. Our first question is, how is the work-relatedness of cancer determined?
Yung pag-determine po nung cancer ay kailangan po niyan ng comprehensive na review ano, 'di ba, sa medical surveillance kasi para malaman po natin na work-related yung cancer is through yung routes ng exposure dun sa carcinogens nga or sa situations mo at work, 'di ba? At the same time, yung concentration ng carcinogen, yung dose, yung gaano ba kadami yung na-inhale mo na carcinogen, yung gaano ba kadami yung tumapon na chemical sa katawan mo. Or yung frequency, gaano ba kadalas ka na-expose dun sa carcinogens. Siyempre, lalo na kunwari, minor ka, hindi mo naman maiiwasan na hindi ka ma-expose sa coal dust, silica dust, diba? And yung duration, gaano katagal po na na-expose yung worker sa carcinogens dun sa occupational hazard na pwede pong maging cause nung cancer natin. And syempre, hindi lang din naman po doon nagtatapos kung lalo na po yung worker is meron palang predisposition, ibig sabihin may family history na meron silang family history na merong may lung cancer, breast cancer, etc. po. Yun po. And also, yung work-relatedness yun, talagang ma-determine din po nun ng system din po yun.
Salamat po, Doc Sheila, sa inyong answer sa ating first question. Ang susunod pong tanong ay, our company is small and lacks the resources to implement a cancer prevention and control program. Are there exemptions?
Yung pag-implement naman po ng OH program is hindi naman po kailangan mahal, no? Kasi meron naman po tayong available na templates natin sa atin sa Dole mismo, meron po. But you have to tailor fit po ito sa ating mga nature ng ating workplaces. And at the same time po, gaya nga po nung nakasaad sa ating labor advisory na yung access to screening, diagnostics, even yung mga paggamot po and treatment, tsaka psychosocial support is covered naman po ng ating PhilHealth Consulta packages po. So, yung parang minimum po na kailangang gawin ng ating mga employers is for them to help yung ating mga employees to access those or i-refer sila dun sa mga tamang NGAs or sa PhilHealth accredited na health centers and hospitals po.
For our third question, from Mr. L. Apolinario, may data po ba regarding sa patients na naka-avail?
Meron naman po. Pero yung data po kasi nun is nasa DOH po, no? Yung as repository po ng patients' data.
For the fourth question, to what extent makademand ng assistance ang cancer patients sa employers, especially sa private? Sa government referral lang ba sa PCSO? Doc Sheila?
Yung labor advisory po kasi natin is, 'di ba, issued ng DOLE is yun nga sinasabi ko is encompassing and comprehensive para po ma-assist yung mga employees natin and more than sa referrals to the PCSO, no, yung availment po ng Cancer Assistance Fund from the government or DOH, nandun po yan sa NICA law, yung cancer law, nandun po. And pwede rin po sa iba, mga DSWD and yung flinash po kaninang mga different organizations, cancer organizations, pwede rin po tayong makahingi ng tulong sa kanila. Okay, question pa po?
From Josh Agawin. Dahil madalas exposed ang construction workers sa mga carcinogenic materials tulad ng asbestos, silica dust at diesel exhaust, paano may patutupad ng epektibo na industriya ang preventive measures at masisiguro ang long-term health monitoring ng workers, lalo na kung ang latency periods ng occupational cancer sa umaabot ng dekada?
Bale, dito po, yun nga po yung, 'di ba, sa health measures natin, yung sa cancer program natin sa ating mga workplaces. Yung OSH committee po, malaki po talaga ang role nila doon dahil sila po yung mag-identify ng hazards, paano po nila i-risk assessment ang kanilang workplace, lalong-lalo na po yan sa mga workers, lalo na po yung mga construction workers, no, na talagang hindi po maiiwasan yung exposure nila sa mga asbestos, sa dust, sa diesel exhaust po. But at the same time, syempre, kailangan po ng enforcement on part po ng DOLE through our OSH inspections. But of course, kahit ano po kami mag-inspect, if yung control measures po natin is hindi rin po natin nasusunod, wala rin pong mangyayari. So, nasa OSH committee po talaga natin yan. No? Pwede po natin i-eliminate yung mga carcinogens kung kaya. If not, substitute it with lesser non-carcinogenic or yung lesser ng exposure or risk ng cancer, or ano ba, engineering controls. Like kung sa mga maglagay tayo ng vent or closed systems, kung tinatawag yon, or administrative control, yung monitoring, napaka-importante po niyan. Lagi pong up to date ba yung pagmamonitor po ng OSH committee, yung reporting mismo ng ating mga empleyado na nagsabi, uy, na tingin ko na expose ako sa ganito, nakalanghap ako ng ganito, or natalsikan ako ng ganitong chemical. Syempre, it all boils down to both ng efforts ng employees and employers po. And lastly po, yung PPE, syempre, kung hindi natin maiiwasan, at least ma-prevent lang po, no, through proper PPE, kung goggles, meron pong mga respirators, or mga yung gloves natin. Ayun po.
For our sixth question, pag sa work po ba nakuha ang sakit, pwede mag-file ng easy claim?
Apo, pwede po. Basta as long as yung supporting documents is ma-prove po na ito ay work-related na sakit po.
I think ito na po ang ating last question for today's topic. Doc Sheila, pwede bang maging rason ang pagkakaroon ng cancer na empleyado upang siya ay ma-terminate sa trabaho?
Hindi po. Gaya nga po nung sabi natin, di ba? Tayo po ay nagpo-promote ng back to work at saka yung reintegration to the workforce and work accommodation po natin na dun po sa employees or carers na ng mga taong may cancer. So, hindi po siya hadlang, discrimination po yun kapag ganun.
Alright. Maraming salamat po sa lahat na nagpadala ng Maraming salamat po sa lahat na nagpadala ng questions. Kung meron po kaming hindi nasagot ngayon, rest assured po na ang aming social media team ay sasagutin ang inyong inquiries mamaya. Once again, thank you very much, Doc Sheila, for sharing your expertise in our topic for today. Baka mayroon pa po kayong final words that you would like to leave to our Facebook Live viewers?
Thank you po for listening po sa ating Webinar Wednesday episode, and I hope po na sana marami tayong natutunan ngayon, especially po dun sa ating mga employers on how to raise awareness with regards to cancer, and not only cancer, lahat po ng mga mandatory OH na programs natin, isa na po mapaganda po natin para naman po ang ating mga empleyado naman po ang magbe-benefit po nun. Thank you po.
Salamat po ulit, Doc. At for our next episode, kayo po ba ay nag-resign o kaya naman ay tinanggal sa trabaho at may katanungan sa inyong mga makukuhang benepisyo? Kung gayon, tumutok sa next episode of the Webinar Wednesdays next week on February 12, 2025 with the topic Final Pay. Further announcements: if you have questions, you may send us an email at ask@bwc.dole.gov.ph or you may call the Dole Hotline 1349. Also, please follow our official Facebook page, BWC1949, para maging updated kayo sa iba't ibang issuances, announcement, and activities na inilalabas ng BWC at ng Dole. And that concludes our webinar for today. I believe that it has been a very productive day dahil napakarami po nating natutunan sa ating speaker. Agree? Of course, sang-ayon po tayo dyan. Again, thank you for joining us this afternoon and we hope to see you again next episode. Ingat po and God bless us all. I am Ningning Flores, your host, now signing off.
Para sa mga katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa Dole Hotline 1349 o sumambuni sa mga Dole Regional Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.